here on behalf of the Romney presidential campaign and, of course, President Obama's campaign. We reached out to them. They denied our request for an interview. So, Congressman, thanks for joining us. Let me ask you very simply, is this good politics? Will it help the president in November?
Well, it's bad policy, that's for sure, and I think bad policy is bad politics. But set the politics aside for a second. The president has a major problem, which means we all have a major problem. We've got a lagging economy that hasn't come up or responded to any of President Obama's misguided adventures over the past 3.5 years now. The spending that you were talking with Brian Westbury a couple of minutes ago, the tax rates and so forth. What we've got to do now is to make sure that we don't raise taxes on anyone, because the people that the president is unfortunately targeting are the very people who are the job creators in this country. So you've got a tremendous amount of small business owners, Melissa, who pay at the individual tax rate. If you raise taxes on small business, you slow the economy down even more.
Okay.
The country rejected this argument in 2010, and I think they're going to reject it again in 2012.
We got that point, that higher taxes are not the way to go, but the complaint that you always hear, levied against Governor Romney is that we don't hear a clear, concise pro-growth plan. That he said, I have a 59-point plan, but if you give us 2 or 3 bullet points on what he could do right now that would get the economy moving, what would that be?
Well, I think he's articulated that already. He said, don't raise taxes, number one. Number two, begin to move, and if he's elected president, he will work with House members in the Ways and Means Committee and others to move towards reforming the tax code. That's where the action is. A couple of minutes ago, you were talking with Brian about the rate at which economies should be growing, and he pointed to France and other countries that have not been growing. This economy has to grow in order for us to close budget gaps, in order to meet our financial obligations, and ultimately to return to the prosperity that we've come to expect.
But lower
it's
taxes,
really at
that's
a tipping
the message?
point.
Lower taxes right there, because that's what I heard you say. And while that's a great idea, it seems like only a beginning, and we need more to grow the economy than just lower taxes.
No question about it. Absolutely no question about it. And what House Republicans are prepared to do is to have a vote at the end of this month that would stop the tax increase and also lay the groundwork then to move forward to ultimately reform the tax code. There is nobody today that can defend the status quo of our tax code. Nobody is out there defending the status quo. And rather than President Obama bringing people together to say, let's transform this and come up with a code that's competitive and dynamic and gets us at a growth rate again, ultimately he's just kind of playing the class envy card.
I know, that's still taxes, though. Anything else?
Well, simplify the code, flatten the code, clear out what is known as sort of the underbrush. There's all kinds of crony capitalism that's packed within the tax code, and those are the areas that I think President Romney, if he's chosen this November, will go right at. That's where the action is, not going back and taxing the very job creators that we're trying to induce to come into the marketplace. And I think that, unfortunately, President Obama, he's playing an old card. As somebody else said today,
I'm not sure that that's a message
ball.
that necessarily renesonate with the whole population or enough people to win the election. If you just say lower taxes, that's right and it's appealing, but you need more.
Oh, listen, I wholeheartedly agree with you. So I'm saying don't raise taxes, keep the rate low, simplify the tax code. And as I said a minute ago, there's nobody that can defend the current complexity of the tax code, including me and really any other voice in Washington, D.C. So the name of the game is bring that energy together, drive towards internal consensus, but for sure don't raise taxes on the very job creators that are out there.
I still only heard taxes. But Congressman, anyway, thank you for coming on. We appreciate your time.
Thanks, Melissa.
The government's at it again.